Hey guys, it's Aseem Sharma, training manager from Solframe Consulting. Again, I do hope you're all well. Today, I want to discuss a few interrelated topics. One is dealing with anger and not letting it get the better of you, frustration as well, and also how to handle feeling insecure. Now, I have covered some of these individually, but I wanted to kind of show the association between all of these, and I guess it affects all of us at some point in our lives, or often. It affects me certainly, that I can say. So I thought I would just share a few things that perhaps you can do, and more so realize and accept. And it's not so much about you know avoiding and avoiding the fact that you may feel angry or frustrated, or using relaxation techniques. I don't always believe that they work. I mean, they may work for some people, and that's fine. But the first thing is, sometimes when we get angry, we actually forget the main trigger factor, the reason. What is the reason for making you angry? And even if you could point it towards, an event or something, or disappointment, or someone, even for that matter, often that is the case. Um, what exactly is it that is causing that? So let's say someone makes you angry. Is it their characteristic? Is it a kind of behavior that they exhibit? Or is it, maybe something that they do which makes you feel a certain way? So, for instance, let's say you expect to have a meeting with someone, at a specific time, and then they don't turn up, and it's not the first time that this has happened. So their lack of punctuality that could make you angry, and there's that's quite a natural reaction, I would say. Now, how you deal with it is another thing. Now, of course, if you start shouting and screaming at someone, that's not very productive. But we can't actually always judge people for doing that, because, again, if you, let's say, absorb all of those kind of emotions and you implode from inside, that's not good either. So it may be that you express your disappointment, and you churn some of that anger into disappointment and express it that way, that look, this is not the first time, and this is how it's affecting me. So generally, it may not necessarily be the lateness in this particular case that makes you angry, but the effect it has on you, that onward effect. So it's pretty obvious, but I'll explain it anyway. So let's say you're waiting for someone, and it has now been half an hour, and they haven't bothered to inform you that they are, running late. That's another thing. We need to look at the circumstantial factors as well. And then you think, okay, I'm getting different thoughts in my mind now. I'm getting late for something else to do, or I'm getting tired of waiting, or because of this person's lateness, it will have an onward impact, as I said. So perhaps I'll miss my favorite show. I won't be able to go home on time, or I won't be able to spend time with the family. Some kind of onward effect, right? And also the fact that they didn't even bother to inform me. So I find that quite rude. So these are the things which actually triggering the anger, right? On the other hand, let's say someone has informed you and they've apologized. You probably won't feel as angry. That's a given, and I'm pretty sure most people would agree. And also how they carry themselves when they do finally turn up. So when they arrive, if they're very defensive, of course that's going to rub you up in the wrong way, right? But if they're apologetic, okay, fair enough. That's kind of neutral. If they do something to make it up for you, and I'm not saying that people have to compensate in any way, but still, maybe, I don't know, if it's a business meeting and they keep it short, but then not too short, otherwise you would think, what was the point of meeting them in the first place? Or they cancel midway, you would be probably even more frustrated and angry. But if they say that, okay, this is what we're going to do, or tell you what, we have a conference maybe being held somewhere, in a couple of days, and we would like to invite you, or they present something hospitable, to you. So it's not so much about always making it up to someone, but the recognition that, look, you have suffered in some sort of way because of my inaptness, or something, right? So that can help. That can help to mitigate some of that anger. But I want you guys to focus on what exactly is making you angry. Not the fact that you're angry, that is there anyway, but what exactly is making you angry. And if you say that, this person really winds me up or this person makes me angry, chances are, no, it's not the person themselves. It's perhaps not even their personality. It is the effect that their behavior has. The effect, that's the key word here, that their behavior has on your life in some way. It either, makes you incur some sort of loss. It may be financial, it may be time, it may be resources, it may give you stress. It could induce many other kind of feelings within you which trigger that, kind of anger, right? So that's one thing. Frustration is kind of related to this in one sense, because frustration is kind of where you feel that you're stuck, or you're not able to progress, and something is, kind of impeding you, something is hindering you, and trying to find out what that is and to kind of release it can be a big challenge. So if you're frustrated, for instance, it could be anything. Here's a very kind of random example. I think the first time when I learned how to sew, I got pretty frustrated in trying to thread the needle. But then I worked out a technique. My mum also, she advised me something. We also learned it at school, but I just learned a technique, and my technique was simple. That if the end of the thread is not absolutely sharp, then you probably want to cut it with a pair of sharp scissors at a slight angle, and then you maybe want to moisten it as well. And the point is not to hold the thread too far away from the needle. So you need to give it some more kind of you want it to be more static, or perhaps the word would be reinforce whatever tensile strength is within the thread. Now I'm getting very technical. Anyway, it works for me. So I worked out a technique. But if I did not work out that technique till then of course I would be pretty frustrated. And frustration probably stems from repeating something or getting stuck in doing something and not seeming to find any way out of it, or not being able to improve yourself, right? And that can also lead to anger as well. So that's frustration for you. And the way to deal with it, I guess, is first of all, maybe change your game, change your method, acknowledge that, yes, this is frustrating, maybe take a break, maybe approach it from a different angle, maybe take someone else's opinion who you can trust, maybe a family member or a friend or a colleague or a mentor or a teacher, etc. And also, now, in terms of feeling insecure, if you're angry, and you start feeling insecure, it can happen. Maybe you don't trust someone, maybe someone who you really care for, or maybe you love, you have doubts, and it can make you feel insecure. Or you have doubts about yourself, your abilities. Maybe you're going to appear for an exam and you don't feel prepared, or you're just very nervous. Some people get very anxious about exams, including myself. So it could be one of those things. Maybe a past experience has made you feel insecure. You previously failed at something, or you fear humiliation, right? Or I don't know, you're going to appear for an interview tomorrow or something. It's one of those dream jobs which you think can really make a big difference to your life. It'll be an overhaul, right? It'll set your life. So it could be anything, right? So dealing with insecurities is not very simple, but it's not that difficult either. Again, we need to pinpoint what exactly is the insecurity here and what is causing it. So, for instance, let's say you don't trust someone. Why don't you trust them? Is it something you have witnessed or something you've heard? Have you been able to validate that? Is there any evidence of that? Is it something that you just keep trying to kind of like brush under the carpet and deny it because you feel that by admitting it and accepting it and then dealing with it in some way would cause more harm than good? Is it something, is it an issue that you kind of fear will create some sort of midlife crisis? It's one of those things. What exactly is making you insecure and why? And targeting that and accepting it and not denying it is the first step. And then obviously trying to address it in some way. And addressing it can, take form with a myriad of techniques. It could be something as simple as confronting someone and saying that, look, this is not right, or this is not making me feel comfortable. It may be introspection. It may be the fact that you said, okay, I feel insecure about how I appear. Maybe I'm overweight. Maybe I need to lose weight. Or I feel insecure about how others perceive me and what is the reason for that. It's very generic. You need to be able to pinpoint it, and generally only you will be able to do that. Some other people may be able to help you, but ultimately you need to at least find out what is making you insecure, why is it making you insecure, how do you feel deficient, and how it affects you, and then generally you would know what you need to do. So an example, simple example, you're overweight, so that's what makes you feel insecure. Why does it make you feel insecure? Because you're worried about how you look, or people's perceptions of you, or maybe you feel shy if you have to expose yourself while you're going swimming or anything like that, right? And then, or you feel that it'll reduce your opportunities in life. Maybe you feel that people will find you less kind of attractive, anything like that. Okay, so that's what the problem is, and how it's affecting you, and why it's affecting you. And then, well, it becomes obvious then that you probably need to get into shape. But then again, you don't want to go overboard and do things for the purpose of others. You do it because it'll make you feel better, and it doesn't mean that you have to become super fit. It simply means that you just need to shape up somewhat, depending on how overweight you are, so that you're healthy, which is a good thing for yourself in the long run, right? But you also feel human as well. You don't want to push yourself to the limits where you feel that now perhaps you've got into a vicious cycle where you are just there to impress other people, and you're not too bothered about respecting your body's limits. Maybe you start feeling very tired, or you feel that you have to adhere to a certain diet which you're not even able to cope with. It's not very sustainable. So different things. So that's how to deal with insecurities. Anyway, long video, just over 10 minutes. I hope you found this useful. For further tips and tricks, please do subscribe to this channel if you haven't already done so. Please give this channel a like. You can also find us on LinkedIn. I will leave the URL below in the description. Also on FB and Insta. We also have our website, solframe.in. That's solframe.in. Please do check that out if you would like to enroll on any of our courses. If you have any questions, please do leave them below. I will try my best to answer them. So till next time, please do take care. Thank you very much, and goodbye.